The 2025 Czech Motorcycle Grand Prix is done and dusted, and to be honest, to be brutally honest, I still had no idea why this track making it back onto the calendar again. Whew. Back in 2021, when this track was out, Automotodrome Brno was out of the calendar, I was so happy, I was ecstatic to learn that the track is no longer on the calendar. It's such a dull track. What do you remember about Brno? What? I don't remember anything about Brno apart from 2016 or 2018. Those two were the only interesting race, but it was due to the weather in 2016. Had it not been raining, it's going to be such a yet another dull race. And 2018, of course, three-way battle between the two factory Ducatis against Marc. And but well, without further ado, as per tradition, I can't really complain. 5 topics to comment about. Not only that Marc won 5 in a row, for the first time since 2019. Yes, you heard me right. The last time that Marc Marquez won 5 races in a row was all the way back 6 years ago in 2019. This time he broke a record by being Ducati MotoGP's first rider to ever win 5 races on the trot. He basically beat Pecco Bagnaya's record, which he did twice back in 2022 and 2024, which was only 4 in a row. Back then, Pecco was denied 5 in a row by Enea Bastianini at Aragon, and in 24, I kind of forget at which circuit that he lost the chance to do a 5th in a row. And again, it's just a testament to how strong Marc is this season. It's like, at this point, I'm not going to be surprised if he can win 10 in a row, repeating his own feat all the way back in 2014. Like 11 years ago, Marc did 10 in a row. He was only denied 11 in a row at Brno. So this time he completed 5 in a row at Brno. Who knows what might come next? Funnily enough, Marc never win at Red Bull Ring. But we can't really say for sure, because next round is it Red Bull Ring, the A1 ring. But we can't really say for sure if he's going to do well there this time. 2016, the debut, the return of the Austrian Grand Prix, he finished like what, a 5th. And then 2017, of course, that famous battle between him and Andrea Dovizioso. And then 2018, he was beaten by Jorge Lorenzo. 2019, yet again by Dovizioso. So Marc never won, not even once, at the Red Bull Ring. So this is going to be interesting to see. This is going to be an interesting development. Can he win at Red Bull Ring, knowing that for the past, how many years has it been? 3 years. The past 3 years, 22, 23, 24. The Austrian Grand Prix had been won by Pecco Bagnaia. But with Pecco's form this season, he can't even really win at Mugello. He wasn't really challenging at Assen. I don't really think that he's going to be any form of challenge towards Marc. But well, again, we'll see. Yet another disappointing outcome from the double world champion. Dropping all the way back to P4. P4, starting on pole position. Even at one point, he dropped to 5th. Enea Bastianini, starting from like what, 11 or 12 on the grid, he passed through Pecco. Enea was at one point sitting in P4 before he crashed out, and then Pecco ended up inheriting the 4th place back. Ay, ay, ay. But well, at the very least, he was still able to close in on Pedro Acosta for the fight for 3rd, essentially. Well, I don't think it's really worth to be called a fight for 3rd, a battle for 3rd. I mean, it was just like the last 5 laps, and then Pecco was like slowly but surely closing in on Acosta. Well, they crossed the line, and only like what, half a tenth separating them, and it's nothing special. And honestly, I'm just so devastated to even talk about it. Having done P2 2 weeks ago at Sachsenring, Bez was having a stellar weekend. It was a really stellar weekend. He was very fast. He's showing, he displays a really strong pace throughout the entire practice session. He missed out a bit in the qualifying as he crashed while running on an estimated front row lap time. It was like, I think it was he was basically challenging for the pole position, but he crashed. But even after he crashed, he was still able to maintain that 4th position. So he was strong. He is pretty strong this week, and especially in the weekend where his world champion teammate returns on the grid. This strong P2, it further solidifies his redemption day at Brno. It's just like he's asserting his domination, that saying that even though that teammate of mine who is a world champion bearing the number 1, I'm still the boss here at Aprilia. No one can topple my throne. It's as if he's making a statement for himself and Aprilia, and it's going to be an interesting dynamic coming to the next races, especially like in going to a brand new circuit, the Balton Park at Hungary. So it's going to be really interesting because it's essentially a blank sheet of paper. Who's going to be the strongest? It is indeed going to be interesting. In a classic Yamaha fashion, Yamaha and Fabio were essentially good qualifying, poor race result. Yet another front row for Fabio, starting the race P3. I mean, that Yamaha, in a track like Brno, I mean, Yamaha was always strong at Brno, but not with this generation of bike. Oh yeah, he immediately went backwards. Immediately. Lights out, he went backwards, barely any pace to keep up with the European manufacturers. And he was even finishing behind satellite Aprilia's Raul Fernandez. Imagine that, Raul, that joke of a rider, which the fact that he is still in the championship is already a joke in and of itself. He finished ahead of Fabio in the race. I just can't really process that at the moment. And at least it's still a top 6 result salvaged by the Yamaha man, but I don't think he's going to stay at Yamaha if Yamaha keeps on performing like this. He already sending multiple ultimatum towards Yamaha, but I don't see any progress being made here by Yamaha. So since his entrance in the World Championship all the way back in 2021 when he went to Moto3, Pedro Acosta. Pedro never rode the Automotodrome Brno. I don't know if it's like previously like on a competitive level. Maybe he visited Czechia and then rode at Brno. But on a competitive level, I don't really remember him ever riding the bike at Brno. Yet he managed to put a steady qualifying result and executed the race beautifully, starting in P7. 3rd row on the grid, and he took no prisoner. He immediately making up places, and then once he got to P3, he was even challenging Marco Bezzecchi for that 2nd place. But ultimately, he was, I think he used his head pretty much, and it was like, well, at least this is a podium. I don't really need to push any longer. And it was indeed a podium. He was defending against Bagnaia in the last 5 laps, like I said in the previous section. Pecco was essentially closing in on Pedro in the last 5 laps, and but Pedro he never blinked. He never blinked, despite Pecco clearly was closing in on him and was already glued to the back of his KTM. He beat Pecco on the line for the last place on the rostrum, giving KTM their first proper podium of the season. Why I said first proper podium? Because let's not forget that actually at Losail in Qatar, KTM was already on the podium. They were on the podium. That's a strong P2 from Maverick. And then the FIM decided to ruin the joy for basically everyone, the fans, KTM themselves, Maverick, and so on and so forth. So this unstable manufacturer finally getting their first proper podium of the season, and it's in the hands of Pedro, and that is no surprise at all. And yeah, I think that's it that I can talk about for today. Really nothing really interesting, because like I said, Brno is such a dull track. This spectacle that it provides were like only in the first 3 laps, and then after that it was just like 1 second from one rider to another. Oh yeah. Please just remove this track again, please. I don't want to see this track any longer. It's just a an ugly track. Okay, it's an ugly track. It's not suited for motorcycle. I think, judging by how wide the track is, this is a car track, not a motorcycle one. And yeah, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and like and subscribe for more, and until we meet again,